Changed the format, didn't he? Changed the team. Absolutely fantastic.
Up the Boro, Karanka. 3-1 the defeat at the hands of West Ham. Welcome to RedArmy.tv. With me in the studio, Steve Rock's been here. Actually, you've both been here before, haven't you, fellas? But Steve Rock, former chairman of the Middlesbrough Official Supporters Club. I've got to get the title right. And the author of Sally the Oil Rig Seal, but she's not with us tonight, but Peter Brunton is. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. You're always welcome. 3-1 the scoreline. Peter, I'll start with you first. How damaging a defeat was it for us?
Very disappointing. Dear me. Very damaging as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. You've got to win your own games.
Yeah, and we haven't been doing that really, have we,
No.
to a great extent, and that's what concerns me. Rocky, how about you, mate? Was it damaging in your view?
Like Peter said, you need to win your home games. Burnley have been doing so. Now, I can't for 1 second believe that anybody who watches us can compare Burnley to us as a squad. We're steps ahead of them in every aspect, and yet they're 6 points above us. The biggest belief. But they're playing football that makes them on the front foot at home. The vast majority of the Boro supporters go to the home games and they want to see us win at home.
3-1 was the scoreline, Peter. I think we got caught on the sucker punch, didn't we, towards the end. It wasn't a 3-1 game. We'll not talk about Andy Carroll because the sooner he gets his ponytail cut off, the better for me. But we did attack. There was a bit of a change. We looked as though we wanted to push forward. Were you pleased to see that?
Yeah, it looked as though we were actually going for it, and I thought we started playing better after we went 1 down. We then thought, well, let's go for it and let's play. Let's attack them. Let's see if we can get a goal, and we did. But then, I don't know, we don't keep it going. We don't keep our passing quick and sharp and keep going. We've got to go for the jugular for these teams, you know. I didn't think West Ham were that good, and I thought we should have at least got a draw out of it, if not beat them at all.
Well, they're a team we could have pegged back to within a couple of points, but we didn't. But Rocky, just on the subject of us attacking, finally, we did it in the game. Does that give us any crumbs of comfort?
Before the match, I was saying to the company and I was with, name the teams that you've enjoyed watching this season, or even name the games where you actually enjoyed going and watching the match. Saturday for me was one of the best games we've seen this season. We got beat 3-1. The build-up play was nothing wrong with it. It was just we lacked where it mattered, and again some of the decisions by individuals actually while we were attacking, then split second later we're on the back foot and on the turn and we're defending. And you can't, because West Ham are a quality team, and they're on a bad run at the minute as well. Would have been nice to have beaten them, obviously, but even on a concourse before the game, people then were saying, I'll take a draw, I'll take a draw, I'll take a draw. And I can't, again, I'll mention the Cavalier in me. The football I want to watch and what I want to see is attacking football.
Would you rather have attacking football and we lose, or would you rather have defensive football and we win?
No, I know, and I don't disrespect other fans' thoughts on this, where they would take a scrappy 1-0 off the back of the referee's head every week. That's not where I want to watch. We played good football on Saturday, but we were lacking where it mattered.
So it's not all doom and gloom for you, because you've seen some good attacking football. What about you? Where do you stand on this one, Peter? Would you rather have the scrappy 1-0 win, or would you rather have the decent performance but we get beat?
That's a tricky one.
A mixture of them.
A mixture, yeah. I like us to win our own games. But it's nice to see attacking football. And like Rocky said, we played some decent stuff when we actually attacked them and got the goal. I mean, the goal was set up beautifully. And we had other chances as well that we didn't take. Traore, I thought, was really good in the first half. He put a beautiful cross in, right across the goal line, and there was no one there just to tap it in. We've got to take these chances.
A few people around me were suggesting that's because we're not used to seeing balls like that across the goal 2 yards out ready for a tap-in because we don't attack that much. That's what they were saying behind me. Subs times. The times of substitution's been something that's cropped up time and time again. I felt a bit sorry for Aitor because he was desperate to get Bamford on, wasn't he? He stood there for about 3 or 4 minutes before the ball went out of play. But just comparing them, because there's a few people have mentioned it, 80 and 83 for the Boro were the times of the substitutions. West Ham as early as 54 and 67, the last one in 83. Is it saying something, Peter, about our subs? Would you like to see Aitor, if we're chasing a game, he needs to make a change to do it earlier, or are you quite happy with what's happening?
No, you've got to change it. I mean, as soon as they got the second goal, I would have changed it. I would have brought Bamford on, I'd have brought Gusted on.
A big half-time switch.
Yeah, I'd have took Negredo off. I didn't think he was holding the ball up very well. He got a few headers, and some of the time it went to our players. But most of the time it went to West Ham, and we were on a back foot again. Once you go behind, you've got to look at it and say, right, are we going to get back into this game? If we're not, change it. And go for it. That's what I think, anyway.
Thoughts on subs?
Yes. Why I'm mentioning Burnley again, I don't know. But when we played at Burnley, when we lost 1-0, Sean Dyche made 3 substitutions early on when it was 0 each. They ended up winning the game 1-0. We are not making the substitutions at the right time. He put Bamford on 80 minutes and he took Stuani off. Where did Bamford end up? On the right wing. There was no change in formation. It was same like for like, which is every substitution as far as I can remember back so far this season. It's always like for like. There's never a change in formation. Nothing that's going to challenge the back 3 or the back 4, whatever formation that we're playing against. And I just don't understand his reluctancy to not go gung-ho, but we're getting beat. Might as well get beat 3-1 as 2-1. Yeah. And I can't get my head around it.
Okay. Couple of thoughts coming in from yourselves on social media. David Smith played well overall, just couldn't handle Carroll. I still don't understand why we waited till the 80th minute to make the subs when losing. Kian Brother has left a message on YouTube. Another good video, guys. Oh, thanks. Another defeat. The formation and tactics need to change and beat West Brom. End of. So thank you for that one. You mentioned Bamford. Rob Scott's throwing the cat among the pigeons. By the time Jordan Rhodes was Bamford's age, he had 123 goals to his career. He's got more than Gusted and Bamford combined. It was good to see Bamford back, wasn't it, Peter?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like Bamford. I thought he did well for us. I know it was in the Championship. He scored 19 goals. Nobody else got 19 goals for us that season. I don't think he's had a fair crack of the whip in the Premiership with the teams he's been with. Karanka likes him and he's back, so I think he'd be good for us.
Yeah, a big smile on his face, Rocky, when his name was read out, sitting on the bench. So he certainly seems happy to be back. Are you happy to see him back?
I'm happy for anybody to wear the Middlesbrough shirt, if the heart's in the club. I'm a great fan of Negredo, but we're not going to keep him next season. There's no way that boy's going to stay, because he's got a full season behind him now, and a bigger club than us will come calling for him, and he'll go. And this is why I would love to see the transfer window scrapped. I would love to see the loan system scrapped, or in some way, shape or form amended, because people who want to play for this club, and any club, I'm not just talking about the Borough, are getting hampered. Chelsea have got 40 players out on loan. Does that make sense? 40, that's 2 squads out on loan to other clubs. It's obscene. I would love to see the loan system dismantled.
Still happy to take half of Chelsea's players if they want to give us them.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we'll come back on to, obviously, the fallout after the West Ham game shortly, but let's catch up on Joe's take. Joe Nicholson sends us a match report every week. This was his take outside the Riverside after the West Ham game.
outside the Riverside following Boro's 3-1 defeat to West Ham. A real missed opportunity to get that first victory since the middle of December. Aitor Karanka went back to that 4-3-3 formation after changing the formation away at Watford, but once again Boro really lacked that movement and penetration going forward to really break West Ham down. Always up against it after going 1-0 behind in the 9th minute when Andy Carroll headed in a corner. Boro did manage to equalise. A nice little move from the right-hand side, and Christian Stuani turned in Callum James's cross. But after that, Boro began to sat back towards the end of the first half and fell 2-1 behind when Mikel Antonio's shot was parried out by Victor Valdez and Andy Carroll made it 2-1. Boro did come out and have a go in the second half, but once again really lacked that quickness, that movement to really break West Ham down. Karanka left it till the 80th minute as well to make his first substitution, and West Ham sealed the game in stoppage time by making it 3-1.
Okay, thanks Joe, thanks for that. More views outside the Riverside now. These were your views. Mark's been out with the camera with your fan rants.
The score flatters them, there's no doubt about it, but three strikers on at the end, what's going on?
It wasn't what we were deserving. 3-1 doesn't reflect what happened on the pitch. I mean, we played better today than we usually do.
Oh, rubbish.
Everyone got what they wanted, didn't they? Attacking formation, going down fighting. But
it is what it is. It is what it is. You can't win them all.
Thought the score flattered them in the end, but I think the problem is we've got no creativity.
He changed the system round a bit today, which I thought we played with a bit more intensity, but we still lacked that cutting edge up front. Negredo, why does he go back to Spain? He's going at the end of the season. Why didn't he play the two new lads up front straight away?
Thanks to Mark for getting the camera out there and getting your views. He's outside the Riverside at the end of every game. Look at him, he'll be wearing a cap and a jacket soon, I'm sure. Just to wrap this up, general disappointment there. I did tweet earlier, or we did tweet earlier, great to see Traore make the right decision with the ball for the goal, a sign that he's learning. 12th man, hello, 12th man. Yes, it's his best game for us. AK did say he would be getting lots of one-on-one coaching, it seems to be working. So wrapping that one up, we touch on Karanka. It was the comments, fellas, after the game that set the back pages, the inside back pages alight, social media. These were Aitor Karanka's comments in the press conference with the written journalists after the game. I was really upset with the last 10 minutes. We didn't play the way we have to play, in the way we know how to play, and it was because the atmosphere was awful today. The fans demanded a lot of the players, which we don't know how to play in that way. Playing in that way, we didn't create one chance and the team was broken on the pitch. Obviously, Aitor pointing the fingers at the fans, forcing them to play the long game is what he was suggesting. Wise comments, Peter, from the boss?
No, not at all. I mean, we got back into the game with a good goal. Then they got another goal, so we were 2-1 down. And like we've already touched on, it was too late with these substitutes. The crowd were brilliant when we got the goal and we equalised. We were all disappointed when they scored again. So that was the time to bring the substitutes on and go for the match. At least a point. So, no, I don't agree with him that the atmosphere wasn't bad at all. And if he'd have brought the substitutes on and we could have got back in and got an equaliser, then that would have lifted the crowd, of course.
Rocky, it all seems to revolve around that chant of attack, 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 which we've heard for donkey's years at Ayrsham, at the Riverside. That came because there's a handful of minutes left. We had the ball on the edge of our own penalty area, passing it across the back again, and I think that's what the frustration came out in the fans. So it was like attack, attack, attack. I mean, can you understand why the fans would chant that?
Yeah, it's inherent. We want to see our team on the front foot. As you say, you've actually nicked me line. I was going to point out that maybe in Karanka's defence, it may well have got lost a bit in translation. That's something I don't say very often, by the way, in Karanka's defence. Attack, attack, attack. The crowd are shouting at the players to go forward and try and score. For me, I'm getting the impression that Karanka's taking it personal and thinking that the fans are saying to him, play attack, attack, attack football.
Get it
It was a spur of the moment thing on the day. We were getting beat. And he also touched on the fans piling out, in effect, when it was 2-1. It was, that West Ham fixture was a bit of an extraordinary event, to be honest. Now, I think there's varying reasons why people left so early. When we went, Peter and I were at West Ham, it was absolutely obscene, terrifying to a few people. On Saturday, I firmly believe that a lot of people left early to avoid confrontation, and I also believe a lot of people left early to cause confrontation, because there were certain elements there on Saturday that were hell-bent on, I can only say, revenge for what happened to our supporters down at the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah.
And I feel, for me, that's why a lot of people left. Now, he's looking around when it was 2-1, and he said people were streaming out. They weren't streaming out where I was. They were ready to go when they got the third goal, and we had, 40 seconds? Was it 40 seconds? Yeah, 40 seconds left to play. People hadn't even got down the stairs when the whistle went. So I don't want to say he was using it as an excuse to body swerve the result, these tactics, or whatever which way he feels. We'll never know that, what he's thinking at the day. He might be regretting it now that it's come out in the heat of the moment. He never usually comes out with the heat of the moment comments.
I mean, a lot of fans were suggesting it was a leading question by journalists.
Yeah.
We've got video clips that we can actually play, but we don't want to major on it. The questions that were asked of him were about the game and the performance, nothing about the crowd. He voluntarily put that in, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I say, we don't want to major too much on it. Just your thoughts. Gemma Brown. I'm not happy with Karanka's opinion of the fans today. We conceded that first goal and there was nothing but support from the fans in the south stand, and from what I could hear around the full stadium. Andrew Burns. I work in a factory, spend my last on following this club home and away, and to Slaters is disrespectful. James Lees. I've watched the Karanka interview 3 times now. I'm struggling to find an angle to back him up. I am struggling. You've dropped a clanger there, so thanks for that. However, the fans' views of Karanka and whether he's the right man for the job, I don't think have been affected too badly by it. I know there's been a lot on social media. The Northern Echo ran a poll yesterday. Your vote. Is Karanka still the right man for the Boro? 69%, absolutely overwhelmingly, say yes, he is. A lot of this, fellas, came from Richard Keys and his tweet. You remember Richard Keys from Andy Gray, Sky, all that sort of stuff?
Yes.
His tweet basically said, interesting developments at Middlesbrough. Karanka pushed his luck a bit too far, it seems. Seems to find off an awful lot of people thinking Karanka had been sacked. That's not the case now. Could we do without those sort of comments, Rocky, do you think?
Well, Richard Keys, if you remember when he was relieved of his duties, him and Andy Gray, for the laddish events that they were up to, famously said, there are dark forces at work here. Is it the same thing? Is it rearing its head again?
Don't know.
We're coming to the Ides of March again, aren't we? Like, and the Charlton events of last season was the middle of March. Only time will tell. It's very apt that you've got that jar of Marmite on the table there. that in effect could be Karanka's middle name.
Love him or hate him.
Yeah.
Peter, your thoughts on what happened with the fans that mad 24 hours when people thought he'd left?
I think people want him to stay because of him getting us into the Premiership. And I can't see Gibson sacking him because he got us in the Premiership. But he's got to look at the way he plays football. We can't just defend and take a nil each draw. Our fans deserve more than that. We deserve attacking football, and that's what Rocky was saying. When we got the goal on Saturday, we played some good football, but we want to see that all the time. We don't want to see the ball going back over all the time. We want to see someone looking for a forward pass, and we don't always get that.
Yeah. Okay.
That was as good football, I think, as I remember so far this season, as the game up at Sunderland, the first away game where we tormented them. That for me, I was pleased.
That was massively enjoyable.
It was good. You could do that every week, couldn't we? Again, it's your thought. It's coming back again to, do we win? Going back to the start of your show, do we take 1-0 wins scrappy, enjoyable, or do we get beat like we did it off West Ham 3-1 and say, I think that wasn't bad?
I'm greedy. I want the decent performances and the 3 points, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Fellas, we'll wrap up. We'll look ahead to the FA Cup. That's coming. It's right on our doorstep. But let's catch up with the latest news. Here's Chris' story.
We start this week with breaking news that Sean Dyche seems to have stolen a march on signing Boro target Robert Snodgrass. Dyche has had a bid for £10 million accepted by Hull City for the 29-year-old winger. Snodgrass is still to agree terms for a move to Turf Moor, but Burnley now lead the race to secure his signature. RedArmy.tv is excited to announce it's going on the road. Tuesday the 7th of February, we will see the big Red Army supping at the Navigation pub next to the Riverside. We'll record that week's TV show in front of a live studio audience where the fans can have their say. Tickets are free but limited. If you want to be there, just email studio@redarmy.tv. MFC Foundation has launched its 2-week National Citizen Service initiative, which highlights great community work. It's supported by the players. As you can see, it led to a group of Teesside teen NCS graduates being given VIP treatment at the West Ham game last weekend. And finally this week, Boro fans take a bow. Over £1,600 has been raised for charity from the sale of the Ali Brownlee One of Our Own t-shirts. The money's been presented to the former Boro commentator's family and it's on its way to children in need. Several Teesside organisations pitched in to sell the t-shirts, including the Boro, MSV, Psych and the House in Yarm. RedArmy.tv tips its hat to all who give their time to help raise such a fantastic amount. And don't forget, if you have any Boro-related news or events to plug, just send it to us here at RedArmy.tv. You can email it at studio@RedArmy.tv or send it via social media at Boro Red Army.
Cracking stuff. Right, every week we run through the top 5 Fly Me threads on the Fly Me to the Moon messaging board. Here's the top 5 this week, fellas. Boro-Burnley comparisons they're doing between how well first and second from last year's championship are now doing. We've touched on that, 6 points of the difference. One seems to be attacking, going for it. One seems to be concentrating on not getting beat. Jordan Rhodes' bid accepted. Has it been? I haven't seen that one. Has he been treated fairly? That's what they're asking. Gibson rejects an offer from Chinese. Was it Egg Foo Young? Gaston Ramirez wants to leave. That's pretty hot on the forum. And apparently, Karanka has criticised the crowd. I must have missed that one. So they're the news. Fly Me to the Moon. If you're not on it, just Google I've got to read this out. FMTTM. I can never do it. Just Google it. You'll find the message board. You can subscribe. Accrington Stanley.
Milk. Ugh. It's what Ian Rush drinks. Ian Rush? Yeah. And he said if I didn't drink lots of milk, when I grow up, I'm going to be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley? Who are they? Exactly.
Who are they? Exactly. Is it a welcome distraction, Peter?
Yes, it is, yeah. I think it is. I think he can play the players that we've just got, like Gusted and Bamford, let them have a go. I'm not really bothered about the result, to be honest, but it'd be nice to go further in the Cup. I know it's only a small team, but let's play the players that we've got. Let Gusted have a go up front instead of Negredo. Let Bamford play as a striker. Play 2 up front.
Rhodes and Gusted? Would you give Rhodes and Gusted a run?
I'd definitely give Rhodes and Gusted. If Rhodes is not going to go and he's still going to be here, this is an opportunity to play Gusted and Rhodes up front for me. And if he gets goals and Karanka still doesn't fancy him, then
maybe he's just added to his price tag.
Exactly, he could get more money because he's got scoring goals, and that's what everyone's looking for.
This was the subject of our poll. With our Premier League running starting to hot up, are you glad it's an FA Cup game this weekend? 67%, Rocky. Absolutely, yes. It's a nice distraction. Let's have a look at some of your thoughts on this one. Jimmy says, think it's great timing. It'll give Bamford and Gusted some much needed minutes on the pitch. Dave Strike, we need to run the Cup. We need as many games as possible to get this team firing. David Emerson, though, disagrees. No, I would prefer it if we had West Brom straight away. We need to concentrate on the league. It's our bread and butter. Which side of the coin are you on?
I'm an old-fashioned guy. FA Cup still holds that magic day for me, and the further we get the better.
And there's a chance we could
Yes.
actually be in the quarterfinals just by overcoming.
Well, look at the 3 clubs that were left in the draw when we were drawn out. City were one.
City, yeah.
Accrington.
Yeah.
The other one evades me at the minute. It could have been a lot worse. Not forgetting they knocked us out of the League Cup when Tony Mowbray was in charge, and they were rock bottom of the League Two then as well. So let's not take anything for granted. Plus, Peter touched on Gested and Rhodes. He's not going to play them in the formation that we want to see, is he? He's not going to change his footballing ways to accommodate 2 people as forwards. He's not going to play them together. We know for a fact if they're both going to be on a pitch, they're going to be 80 yards apart.
So give us your prediction then. What's your prediction?
Accrington?
For the week? Yeah, Accrington.
3-0.
Accrington?
No, no.
3-0 Boro. Peter, where are you going?
Yeah, 3-0, yeah.
That confident?
Yeah, and then we'll be in Baker Street celebrating, won't we, mate?
That's a plan.
That's the plan.
Good attacking performance. Well, I'm going to go for 2-0 Boro. Sorry to throw a bit of a damp and a squib on it. I don't think we'll get 3. I hope we'll get 6, but I'll go for 2-0 into the quarterfinals. Hey, another cup run possibly. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a bit of a doom, gloom and despondency night, isn't it? But let's look forward. Let's be positive. And we've got to say, world champion darts player Glenn Durrant, big Boro fan, in this chair next week. So we'll have some fun there.
Aris.
Yeah, Aris.
You want to see what I did
180. Gents, thank you. Boro, come on. Let's have some goals and a decent display against Accrington. Exactly.
Come on, boy, we can beat these Saturday. Come on, lads, believe. Come on.